You know, after I'd written all the normal chapters that folks write in their life stories, I got this crazy idea for the next one. I wanted to be a mountain man. Now, my friends in Texas couldn't make much sense of that. I was almost 60 years old. It was going to take years to reorganize my life and to acquire the skill sets that I would need for that kind of adventure. But I did it anyway. I moved to Idaho to the Frank Church Wilderness, which is the largest wilderness in the lower 48. There is no place else in the country that is as remote and private and peaceful as Frank. I spent years finding out how far and deep into that wilderness I could wander, and discovering how peaceful a life a man could really lead. Plus, I experimented with all the things that intrigued me about the Wild West. I learned to ride and wrangle horses. I apprenticed as a packer. I was camp cook a couple times. That's a blast. Did the whitewater thing on the Middle Fork. I got to where I really appreciated the seasonal idiosyncrasies of life in the wilderness. My friends up there thought I was probably the happiest guy in the world, and they were not wrong. Few men exploited their freedom as much as I did back then. I mean, I wasn't the only guy there. There was lots of fellas living in the backcountry, but most of them were single, and all of them had to work to make ends meet. Some worked for the mines, some at the Forest Service. One guy, a fabricator, he contracted so he'd have a little more time to spend in the backcountry. And this one young man, he cut wood for a living. That was his sacrifice for the life. He'd cut a cord or two every day, stack it up in a trailer, and haul it to town. Can you imagine? Hard life, man. Me, I had a pension. I had royalties coming in from the books I'd written, and I was getting paid to be the caretaker at the B-Bar-C Ranch. No financial pressures, no relationship pressures. I had it made, which is probably why they freaked out a little bit when I told them that I was fixing to leave paradise. Of course, I had my reasons. I was getting older, closer to 70 than 60 by that time. And most importantly, I had accomplished what I went up there to do. I was a full-time mountain man. Checked all the boxes. And I kind of rediscovered the good part of human company. Had this feeling that alone in the wilderness was not going to be the last chapter in my story. But my best friend, Dave, he just could not wrap his head around me leaving the good life in Idaho. What? He'd say. There's so many things we hadn't done yet, Taylor. We hadn't checked out that place across from Sawmill that Anderson told us about. We hadn't even started looking for the lost Cleveland mine. There's so much to do right here where we are. Yeah, Dave, but I kind of look at life as though we're working our way down a long buffet, and you and I have found something that we like right here, really enjoying it, eating all we can, piling more of it on our plate. But we are only part way down the buffet. We're going to stop right here and deny ourselves the rest of this sumptuous smorgasbord? Oh, I hadn't thought of it like that, he said. Yeah, even steak and eggs get boring if that's all you eat all the time. God has set the table with cosmic abundance, and I want to make sure I sample everything within reach. Life should consist of as many adventures as possible. That's what I believed, and that's how I tried to live. I didn't want situations or circumstance to dictate the narrative. I tried to imagine exciting chapters and string them together. Write the story of my life proactively. But what if you get there and you find out you don't like it? What if the next chapter isn't what you hoped it would be, huh? That's kind of a big disappointment after this change. And he was right, of course. I was glad to have a friend like Dave in my life. Glad to have somebody who would ask the tough questions. And I had lots of thoughts Lots of ideas in my life that made less sense when they were aired out in conversation, But the answer was the same. One adventure leads to the next. You don't like this chapter, you write another one. When I was in the oil field, we didn't stop drilling just because we hit a dry hole. Good times, bad times, that's all part of the program, man. You don't have to be unhappy to chase more happiness. Especially when you figure out that chasing happiness is what makes you happy. It's the chase. Now, of course, I don't know where you are in your life. Maybe you're not in the mood for that. Maybe you're living the dream right now and you're happy with that. Or maybe you're in that comfort zone, kind of static. Everything's okay. Or maybe you're going through hard times, maybe a divorce or a job change, or you're staring at retirement. None of that really matters. What matters is that you understand that you're only part way down the buffet. Maybe, just maybe, you're going to like something else at the table. Why don't you share your ideas with me? Tell me what kind of thoughts you have, adventures you're considering, or concerns that you have about taking that big step. There's a comment space right below here. Write something down in there. I read them. I respond, I promise. And do that like and subscribe thing so you don't miss the next conversation. We're talking about life on purpose here. It's going to be fun, I promise. See you soon.